Hello and welcome. This is the Market Trap. I am Agam Vakil. We have seen the benchmark indices advance. However, there was some letting up in the last 1 hour of trade, with the Nifty also giving up gains essentially after being within kissing distance of, well, breaching the 10,900 mark. As you can see here, it eventually ended the day's trade with just gains of nearly 14 points. But in the highlights for today's day of trade was the Pharma pack, Dr. Reddy, Cipla and Lupin lending strength to the indices. TCS and along with Infosys also right out there from the IT pack, well, aiding the indices higher. On the losing end, however, more weakness for Tata Steel, and we will be talking about that a little more in detail. Zee Entertainment, Bajaj Finance showing some declines. On the broader markets too, the advanced decline turned for the worse only in the last 1 hour of trade. And when it comes to Nifty, or rather NSE 500, well, we had two gainers for nearly 3 losers in today's day of trade. On the losing end, substantial weakness coming in Idea Cellular, now inching towards the mark of 60. BGR Energy Systems also seeing some weakness, down 5%. Alembic Pharma, Central Bank and MMTC along with Time Techno seeing some weakness. On the gaining end, then there was quite a lot of momentum in the likes of Delta Corp, up 7.5%. PC Jeweler also moving up. Reddington India along with Hutco and Reliance Home Finance advancing in today's day of trade. Home finance was essentially one of those sectors which was also in focus. That's as far as markets go. But what are our technical analysts telling us about the different levels that we need to keep an eye on? This is what they're saying. Listen in.
10,900 to 10,950, that should be a range of resistance on the upside. But the way Nifty has been finding strong support at lower levels, and also the way Bank Nifty is consistently trading above, if you look at it, 26,700 odd levels or so. So clearly reflecting that the overall trend remains positive. So any pullback is being used as a buying opportunity.
Nifty has broken out from the symmetrical triangle pattern, which I've been speaking about in the past week as well. So finally, we've seen that breakout that we were expecting, but then there is something very important we should note and we should not ignore, that the breakout is actually coming. If the Nifty closes around the same level as we are seeing right now, then Nifty is actually breaking out by forming a hanging man pattern, or if I may say a dragonfly doji pattern, candlestick pattern. And both these patterns indicate and give early signs of reversal. So I am really concerned here that this might, I really want to believe that the breakout has happened and we may see new all-time highs very soon. But this dragonfly doji candlestick that I am actually looking at right now is, putting me into a 50-50 kind of a situation wherein, I may want to consider at least booking profits, at these breakout points.
Okay, so our technical analysts are cautious at this point in time with respect to the benchmark indices, but there is one stock that stands out when it comes to the index, and that's Sun Pharma. It's been fairly resilient over the previous few days, and we have Darshan Mehta joining us to tell us a little more about the latest development. Darshan.
Yeah, so basically what happened overnight was that Sun Pharma announced that they got the EIR for the Halol plant. Much awaited, and you can see the reaction that's come in. But I think majority of the reaction that came in from Sun Pharma from these levels higher was when they got the VAI voluntary acceptance for the Halol plant. So that was something that caused the big rally that came in. They've been facing regulatory issues on the Halol plant since 2014, where they got in 23 observations on the Form 483. Then they got a warning letter. Then there were 2 more observations that came out, Form 483 that came out with multiple observations, and finally with the VAI and the EIR that came in yesterday, it means that that means the plant is totally cleared. How does this benefit Sun Pharma? They have a numerous amount of filing from these plants, and that will open it up for them, because in the management call after the numbers, the management had said that the low double-digit growth is something that they're looking at, and the approval from Halol was one of the reasons why they believe the growth will come in, while the other companies were rather negative on the growth aspect. So clearly positive. It needs to be seen which are the important filings, because they haven't disclosed. If any blockbuster filing comes out of Halol, that would be extremely positive, and it also benefits Spark, because 2 of their key drugs are to be made at Halol, and that's why Spark also did manage to rally.
Okay, Darshan, thanks for bringing us those details. Watch out for Sun Pharma along with the rest of the Pharma pack. But with respect to the IT sector, we also had TCS lend strength to the indices. Well, TCS has announced that it is going to consider a buyback, and this is going to be this coming Friday, June 15th. This has been a little bit of a surprise, considering a lot of analysts, investors weren't really expecting TCS to come up with the buyback program so soon, essentially, especially after they had just announced their bonus come through. That said, it has advanced, and the likelihood currently stands at around 10,000 crores as per many reports, but we're going to watch out for that one. We're going to watch out for the quantum of the buyback as well. Do remember, last year, same time around, TCS carried the buyback out around 2,850 rupees per share, which means post-bonus, it stood at around 1,425 rupees per share. It's at a substantially higher level, in fact, currently at around 1,825, and which means that we have seen an appreciation of TCS even after the buyback carried out last year. So watch out for this one as well, along with the rest of the IT pack. And speaking of some of those laggards, we also had some weakness today in Tata Steel, and this was, of course, with respect to ThyssenKrupp. We have Nikki Mirchandani who's joining us to give us an idea about what the latest developments are.
So Tata Steel has extended a third consecutive session of losing streak. It's lost good 6% after ThyssenKrupp said that it's going to be renegotiating the deal with Tata Steel now. This is after Elliott Capital Management a day before said that the weak performance of Tata Steel as compared to that of ThyssenKrupp needs to revalue, and even given that kind of scenario, they suggested that if Tata Steel needs a 50-50 kind of a joint venture, then they'll have to pay in an extra money to get in that. If not for 50-50 joint venture, they suggested a 80-20, which means that 80% belongs to that of ThyssenKrupp and 20 by that of Tata Steel. We worked out on the back of calculation, a quick calculation that we did to understand what kind of impact would Tata Steel have if we have a 50-50% kind of a joint venture, which is the present scenario. The share comes to around 73,392 odd crore, and if it further shrinks down to 80-20, which means that Tata Steel will just hold around 20% of the stake in the joint venture, then that will squeeze down from 78 to 29,357 odd crores. So clearly some hit coming in on that level. And if the deal doesn't go through in the first place, now brokerages have sounded caution on that, and they've said that investors will definitely take this as a big negative for the company.
All right, Nikki, thanks for joining us and giving us those details on Tata Steel, one of the laggards on the index today. But with that, it's a wrap on the markets, but lots more lined up. So stay tuned in the Bloomberg Quint, and we'll keep bringing you more.